Hey there, StarCraft fans. It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void and your Sunday series. Today it's going to be France versus Poland from Nation Wars 2019 from the group of C. This is going to be incredible. Both countries have incredible players like a Laser, Petit Drogo. We have Soul here, we have Mana here, and Clem and other players as well. So bottom right hand corner we have the blue Protoss player Petit Drogo from France. And top left, it is the Polish Zerg Laser. Widely considered one of the top EU Zergs in a very crowded field, right? I mean, the Laser's right up there. He is excellent. He's getting better all the time. He recognizes that he was passed up by Serral, but not much shame in that. A lot of people got passed up by Serral in the last couple of years here, and he is dedicated to becoming better all the time and getting to Serral's level, and I appreciate that kind of just determination. Petit Drogo, excellent Protoss player here of his own right. Been around for a very long time around the block. Knows all of the tricks of a Laser because they both play on the EU server for ladder on StarCraft. And I'm sure they play against each other about 18 times a week, as the GM ladder is not very big, comparatively, right? Compared to the Diamond ladder especially, it is very, very tiny and very exclusive. It means you play against the same people all the time. Which I've heard people say who are GM but not pro, right? GM levels but not necessarily super high pro that get on ladder, and they're like, man, it's demoralizing. You hit Serral, you hit Raynor, you hit a Laser, you hit Petit Drogo, you hit Mana, right? You hit Soul, and just name after name after name after name. You're like, where are the just unknown GM players? Can I play against them, please? They're more my level. But sometimes that's all there is, and sometimes that's what the ladder gods have in store for you. Anyway, PvZ opening up. I love a good PvZ. I'm glad that's what we get here in game number 1 of this best of 7, featuring, again, just a lot of different players competing each other, representing their countries. And if this match, well, if this series is anything like the other series that I have cast, then, man, there's a lot of pride on the line here, right? Yes. All right. So, probe scouting. Hatch first here, just because the hatch is done. So no pool first. No reason to be concerned about filling in this gap in your wall. 1 gate expand here from Petit Drogo into a forge. Interesting. Into a forge. I mean, that can't be Cannon Rush. Is that a quick upgrade? I don't know. Laser's going for his third base at 2.5 minutes, which is before speed. So he is going to delay speed for just a minute, which is fine. You can handle the Adept with Slowlings and Queens. Nothing to worry about here. Against Protoss, it is definitely a fine thing to do and gets you a nice advantage in the macro style, which is exactly what a Laser is going for. He's trying to play that macro style more, and he's been doing it, and he's really good at it. So Forge, I guess, for upgrades, could you be going for like a +1... yeah, that's their +1 attack. Interesting. So it's like a +1 attack gateway style move out here. Maybe a 2-base 7-gate style play. That Forge just really intrigues me. And a robotics facility, probably for a Vorp Prism based on that upgrade. We'll see. But yeah, Slowlings and Queens. Yep, checking for the lair timing. No lair, which indicates not much aggression coming from a Laser. He's also droning his face off, making 6 workers at a time. Now hasn't caught up to Petit Drogo yet because Chrono Boost is a good spell. But yeah, checking the saturation on that natural says, okay, a Laser has no intent on coming to kill me in the next couple of minutes. Let's go ahead, macro up ourselves, get another couple gateways, not worry about throwing up cannons or anything desperate to defend against the incoming Roach Ravager style attack. There's too many workers for that. There's your lair timing at about 3.5 minutes. And about the 33 workers, he's going to drone up behind it, get a safety spore or 2, just a spore crawler in his mineral lines. And then we'll see what he decides to do after that. Third base on the way from Petit Drogo. Extremely naked. Extremely unprotected here, but he knows that speed's not done yet because that hatch was so fast. Speed couldn't have come until now. So speed is done, but again, the worker count is too heavy for there to be 16 lings on the map. And as a result, the third base can come up without having to throw over, you know, an Oracle and a couple Adepts to defend it. Petit Drogo is reading this exceptionally well. And what else do we expect from this guy? There's your gateway, and it's actually an Immortal. So an Immortal with +1 attack, additional gateways coming in. I don't know. I feel like I've seen this +1 attack be included in these kind of attacks before, to be redundant a bit. Anyway, if it's gonna be a Sentry Immortal style attack, which you just need are Ravagers. If you're a Laser, then he has the tech to do it. He has the gas to do it. He's taking his 3rd and his 4th gases now. Wait, just kidding. 2nd and 3rd gases. Still has an empty geyser up inside his main. And yeah, he's on 52 workers on 3 bases. Really super happy about that. I mean, Petit Drogo's 3rd base is warping in now, and he's got 48 workers, so he hasn't, you know, he's not that far behind. Chrono Boost is still really good. Observer scouting around trying to see what's up. Does not see a Spire. which is good because there's no Stargate from Petit Drogo. And Mutas would really wreck whatever is happening right now, because not much of this can shoot up. But a laser does not decide to go for a Spire. Decides instead to go for the Roaches with Galil Reconstitution and Ravagers as necessary. And honestly, should probably be going for a 4th base now rather than later. He does know there's a 3rd for Petit Drogo. So I think he's going to try to punish it, but the Hallucinated Phoenix sees it coming. Going to bring over a couple more units here, I assume. And let's see what the response is here from Petit Drogo. Zerglings don't quite like what they see. There's another Warp in. Got a Zealot in the mix. Zerglings just don't want to throw their lives away for nothing, and they decide to get on out. So there, man, the laser, where's your 4th? There it is. 4th base coming up at the low ground. We've got some Roaches to defend it in case a couple Zealots decide to walk on down and try to kill it. Overseer going for the Scout and Charge on the way here too. So going to be a bunch of Zealots, going to be Immortals, going to be Charge, going to be a Warp Prism. Yep, definitely going to be a Warp Prism. This does not, it's not exactly, right? Like a 2 base all in with Charge lots. That's kind of gone the way of the Dodo since they got rid of that 8 damage on Charge contact for Zealots. Happens, you know? But at the same time, it's still going to be pretty good. Charge just allows you to close faster, and speed is always good in StarCraft, even if you don't get that 8 damage per hit. Zealots are not as all-poweringly fantastic against Zerglings when they have Charge as they used to be, but they're still pretty darn good against a lot of other things. So Zerglings come in and say, what are we looking at? Again, that's still just too much of an army for me to handle. Maybe it's bait. Hey, chase me up here. I'm going to try to come up this ramp, and if you're focused on the north, that'll be good for me. Hydralisk den on the way from a laser, working on additional drones. Zerglings running for their lives. And Warp Prism taking those hits. Taking those queen hits. You get out of my neighborhood, Laser says. I have queens here. I've got roaches. I have lings. It's not going to happen, Warp Prism. You just get rebuffed. Petit Drogo says, no big deal. I'll just take a 4th. Just try to out-macro you. How does that sound? And the answer is, that's insane. But if it pays off, it pays off. Overseer says, what tech is there? There's a Templar Archives that's done. We got some Archons on the field now. So it's going to be Archon Charge Lot Immortal, which is a pretty good composition, I gotta say. I might prefer that there were Storm being researched, but it's all good. Immortals dropping in the main, taking down a Queen, going after the drones. Hey-oh, this is pretty good stuff. Meanwhile, Zerglings forcing a cancel on Petit Drogo's 4th. Zealots coming into the 3rd base. This is some crazy action going on right now. More Charge Lots warping on in, but Roach Ravager can handle them pretty effectively. The Immortals are more of a concern. Hydras are joining the party now for a laser, and as long as the Roaches are buffering for them, the Hydras are worth their weight here in gold. The attack at the 3rd base going pretty well. 11 drones have been killed. The 3rd base, or 4th base rather, for a laser. Looks like it might actually end up going down, and it does. That bonus versus biological for Archons applies to buildings too. Zerglings, Roaches, Hydralisks trying to take down this army, but it is 61-58 supply, and good game. Petit Drogo wins it. Wins game 1, puts his number on the board, puts Protoss on the board, and France on the board here in this best of 7. We are a long way from being done, but what a fantastic opening game from Petit Drogo. He knew what he wanted. It was going to be Charge Lots. It was going to be Immortals. It was going to be Archons. And Laser, what did he need to do there? I mean, it depends on what's engaging with what, right? Because the Zerglings are going to die to the Zealots, but the Zerglings can handle the Immortals well. The Immortals will kill the Roaches, but the Roaches can take care of the Archons. It's this whole rock, paper, scissors thing, you know? And it's just what is attacking what exactly. The fact that the Hydras are kind of stuck on this ramp, not really engaging up north, was a problem, but losing the space was massive, as Petit Drogo still had his 3rd, despite losing his 4th there to the Zerglings. So let's move into game number 2. Don't go anywhere. Stick with it, and we'll be right back. Game 2 is here on Ephemeron, the ladder edition. It's going to be Soul versus Marine Lord. Top left, it is going to be the Red Terran player, Soul. He's Polish, he is terrifying, and in the bottom right, it is the blue Terran player, Marine Lord, also terrifying. Possibly the 2 best European Terrans, or foreigner Terrans for that matter. Well, special exists, so European Terrans it is, in the entire European continent. Continent, yes, I am an American. Bottom right-hand corner, it is Marine Lord. All right, man, so let's see how this goes. I cast a best of 9 between Soul and Mana just this morning. I think it's Mana, but Laughing Game says Mana. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's Mana, though. Anyway, and yeah, man, Soul showed up. Mana showed up. It was an incredible series, but Soul came out in the end in a matchup where Terran is, you know, underpowered compared to Protoss, according to conventional wisdom. So, man. All right, let's see how his TVT is. I didn't get to cast a TVT of his in the Tournament of Africa World. There's a link in the description to Laughing Games AfricaTV.com webpage. and streaming site. Every couple of weeks, we do Africa World Tournaments. Right? Right. That's the only time you can see me casting live StarCraft 2, you guys. That's the only time. With professional players as well. So check it out. Bookmark it. Follow me on Twitter at Falcon Paladin, and you will find out when the next one is. We announce it a few days in advance. You can mark your calendars and make it a good time. So 2 Reapers on the way. Chester Grubb is a retired CEO officer. Enough said, I suppose. Sure. And the other Reaper's name is the Mandalorian, a ruthless bounty hunter whose only shred of humanity comes from caring for his quasi-adopted son. He was sent to the Reaper program, but not for his brutal kills, his association with aliens, or his blanked out for spoiler reasons, but because his rifle was modeled after the one in the holiday special, and no one can stand for that. Ha ha! Is that true? The Mandalorian's rifle in The Mandalorian is modeled after the Star Wars holiday special one? Oh, that's genius. I didn't even know that was a thing. That makes me so happy. So happy that the legacy of the Star Wars holiday special lives on. If you guys are unaware of what the holiday special is, it might be the worst Star Wars thing of all time, including Episode 1. There are clips on YouTube. If you just search holiday special Star Wars, things will come up. There is just nobody's really into it. I think Carrie Fisher is incredibly high in cocaine while they're filming, and it's one of the more awkward things you'll ever see in your life. So if you're into awkward things, holiday special might be your jam. I don't know. Check it out. But that's hilarious. They got so Boba Fett, right? Boba Fett is a Mandalorian, and he has a rifle there, and apparently the Mandalorian in the Disney Plus show has it too. Now here's my question: how come it doesn't release in the UK forever? Like, what on earth? Why are there differences? Why is there that much of a difference? There can't be licensing problems because Disney Plus owns all of the licensing for Star Wars, right? So Netflix has problems with regions, right? Where they can show one movie in this region, but not in this region because of licensing issues and agreements and problems. But if you own all of the content, like Netflix, on the stuff it owns all the licenses for, then they can show it whenever they want, right? If Stranger Things releases worldwide on the same day at the same time because it is Netflix original content. I don't understand why The Mandalorian is being pushed out so many weeks compared to the US release. It makes no sense. Let me know in the comments if you know what that is, because I have no idea how that works. There are smart people who watch this, though, and they can maybe help us out with that. Anywho, Raven on the way from Mechrine Lord, which is nice. I like Ravens quite a bit. I think I would be surprised if Soul didn't start a Raven of his own here in a couple seconds. But so far, nobody really deviating from the opening plan. You get a Reaper, you get a bunch of Bio. Maybe you get a Cyclone if you're worried about drops here. And there's your Raven from Soul. And you want Interference Matrix to disable your opponent's tanks. How it works. And now, it's not a disabling because they can still move. They just can't do anything else. So, if you get interfered with, you can still run around. You just can't maybe talk or throw punches. I think, is that what happens if you use it on a human being? I mean, it doesn't work on human beings because it is only for mechanical stuff. And also psionic stuff. You can throw it down on queens too, which is kind of nice. I don't know how that works technologically, but it's some really impressive science, if you ask me. So TVT is all about tank positioning. It's about Vikings. It's about Ravens. And again, disabling and interfering with those tanks. You get battle cruisers at some point if your opponent goes too many tanks. It's very reminiscent of TVT and Brood War, where battle cruisers show up quite a bit. Tanks are a big deal. And man, are you serious? Not bad. Not bad, little Reaper there. Ends up getting 3 SCV kills. Are you kidding me? 3 SCV kills for that Reaper, for Chester Grubb. I've been talking so much about the Mandalorian, I totally forgot about Chester Grubb. Now, Chester Grubb, he's got a Reaper kill, so that's pretty good. What's more important, a Reaper kill or SCV kills? Honestly, at this stage, the Reaper's not getting much done, so probably the SCV kills if I had to guess. As Marine Lord does have an advantage of 4 SCVs in the worker count. Tanks are set up, a bit of some turtling happening here. A Reaper does not want to go in because tanks exist, and Marines are there, and hopping up here is not possible because there's this railing. And the Reaper's just checking to see if there's a third base, and there is not. Is anybody going for a quick third? Sure, Soul. Soul has a third base on the way. He is one of those guys. I mean, Marine Lord has his too, but Soul is a macro god. He's one of those dudes that will macro his face off when it's safe to do so, and you really defend attempts to stop him from doing it. Saw him do it against a myriad of different players. Saw him do it against Solar, the Korean Zerg player in that Africa World 50 I was talking about a couple minutes ago. So Soul's going to expand. It's one of those things you really can't stop. It's like the sun rising in the east in the morning, or the seasons changing. Well, I suppose if you live somewhere in the world where there are no seasons because it's always like warm tropical climate, then don't know what to tell you. But no, okay. Well, the Mandalorian died to tank fire, which Pretty cool way to go, if you ask me. Ooh, Soul is also running with the Mad Max skins, where everything has knives, which is honestly hilarious. Do ravens even have knives on their wings? Zoom in. Oh, yeah. Well, sort of. Actually, maybe Raven is the only unit that doesn't have a knife. Don't know. Third base gonna land for Soul. Third base gonna land for Marine Lord. As soon as that upgrades to an orbital and... Ooh, it canceled the orbital. What? What was that? He was almost done. I think that's a mistake from Marine Lord. I think that's a mistake. It was almost done. He canceled it. Lift. Oh, is that a thing? Is that a bug? If you lift a building that's almost done upgrading... I thought they fixed that. I thought they fixed it where it doesn't cancel the upgrade. It won't let you because it's in the middle of upgrading. Cancel the upgrade first, right? And then lift it off, please. Oh, he doesn't know. He's just making SCVs. This isn't an orbital. Marine Lord is behind simply because his third base is not an orbital command. That's what we're looking at here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that sucks. That's so bad for Marine Lord. All right. Well, 1-1 on the way from Soul for his bio. Actually going mech here is Marine Lord, going for 1-1 for his mechanical units. So he's not planning on going as much bio as Soul is. Soul's going to be more mobile, but he's not going to be able to win a stand-up fight against Marine Lord for most situations. Again, if it's a couple tanks, Marines can handle it, no problem. Honestly, 2 or 3 or 4 tanks, Marines can handle it, no problem, because they don't get the one-shots. And there are just too many of them anyway. Interesting. So we are going to see the differing and the varying styles here, Engineering Bay, for Marine Lord coming in. So what is he doing with that? I guess maybe high-sec auto-tracking, maybe building armor, that kind of stuff. What's your Engineering Bay for, Marine Lord? Lord of Marines. It's a great name, isn't it? Marine Lord. I think it's pretty great. Anyway, both players just hanging out. TBT can be pretty passive in the early stages. Wouldn't mind. Bam. No drilling claws, so you're revealed once you shoot, my good friend. Maybe players are waiting for their 1-1 to finish. At that stage, Soul's 1-1. Oh, man, they're so close. Look at these. Look at these upgrades up here. They are really close to being done at the same time. Look, Soul's making a 4th base, though. Yep, Soul's 4th base. Again, him expanding like this is not a surprise at all. Combat shield wrapping up for Soul, and we're going to start getting into the countdowns for, there we go, 1-1. And the countdowns for the mech 1-1 should be coming in here shortly, too. But I guess that answers the question. Infantry 1-1 is going to complete first, but very close behind our vehicle 1-1. I like it. Like the upgrades. Getting upgrades early is how you win these games. You can have a worse army, and if you have much better upgrades, you can win. And you will win a lot of the time. Additional starports on the way from Soul. Not sure what those are for, unless it's just he wants a lot of Vikings to control that air, which you do. You want to control that air in these games, because if you control the air, the tanks die. Air control and air superiority are what matter in TDT more than anything else, really. Marines checking to see, is there a 4th base? No, there's not. Excellent, because I have one. And I'm going to have the economic advantage here. So he's actually pulling back a little bit, recognizing that Marine Lord's army is going to be a little bit bigger. And you know what? It's not. According to these numbers here, Soul's army is bigger, and he has better economy, and he has more bases. So Soul is just kind of killing it here. Again, partially because Marine Lord's 3rd base was not an orbital command for a while. It is now. He got there. He ended up getting there, but Marines with medevacs versus Marines without medevacs. Also Marines with 1-1 versus Marines without 1-1. That's a problem. I don't know why he has an engineering bay, unless it's for turrets. Oh, I guess it was just for turrets, yeah? Alright, he's just making turrets. He's worried about the drop aspect. Soul expanding again, y'all, to the 12 o'clock. What? Expanding again? Oh, boy. Alright, well, Marines tacking on in. Soul just kind of winning that engagement, but this is bad for him. Yeah, but see how you can still stay alive long enough to shoot a couple more times? And maybe get a tank? No, can't get a tank. Did not happen at all. Soul setting up on these bridges. Marine Lords got his mass tanks, Hellbats, Vikings, and inside the medevacs I think are going to be Hellbats too. Yes, those are Hellbats along for the ride. There you go, interference matrix on those tanks. Anti-armor missile going down on both sides though. Enjoying that very much. Viking versus Viking action. I'm not sure who's winning this one, but considering they're both standing and fighting, it's got to be pretty even, right? If you're going to lose the battle, you generally don't want to stick around for it. You know what I mean? So many tanks here for Marine Lord. He is winning the tank argument handily, 12-6 overall on the map. But the air battle is being won by Soul. Remember what I said? Without the air battle being won by Soul, you got to get out of there. There might be Liberators showing up. There might be Banshees showing up. If you don't have air control, your tanks are going to die real fast unless you retreat and Marine Lord is falling back with his 3 bases. And this is just bad. Soul has got his 5th base running. Soul is out macroing Marine Lord like a king right now. Marine Lord working on some Thors. Maybe anti-air for the Vikings can be a good idea. 75 to 71 workers. Soul has a lead there. Marine Lord is going to go ahead and land a 4th base at the 6 o'clock position, perhaps trying to hide it a little bit. But I think, how are the scans doing? Don't know how the scans are doing, but this army is defending this base with everything it's got because it needs to. So Planetary versus Hellion actually does take 2 shots for a Planetary to kill a Hellion, and also Hellions have a lot longer range than Planetaries do from back here. So it does delay and stop all mining at the 5th base, but the 4th base is happily running. I mean, might as well just run him over here, guy. It's fine. And Marine Lord expanding again. He had a lot of command centers, I was going to say. So he double expands to catch up with Soul, but he's still a tiny bit behind here. But he is going for that Mech Man. 3-3 getting started for him. We're 2-2. For infantry, for Soul, is just not happening. I mean, it's going to be a while. It's on the way, but it's not going to be here for quite some time. So Marine Lord's going to have an advantage with +3 tanks, with +3 armor versus 2 Marines and Marauders here. Doesn't seem like a good place to be if you ask me, but we'll see how that works out. Liberators on the way with advanced ballistics being researched. Again, if you had some Liberators, you could have killed a couple tanks during that last engagement because he did win the air combat, which is how you need to do it. So we are macroing, everyone. Macroing super hard. High-sec auto-tracking on the way. Viking count is currently 19-8. Holy smokes. Marine Lord is way down in Viking count, but he does have Thors. And Thors versus Vikings is almost unfair for the Thors. Scouting barracks gets spotted and killed by Soul's group of Marines, who are in charge of patrolling the eastern sector of the map. Vikings maybe trying to get in here before the missile turrets come up. He's trying. I mean, he gets a Viking, which is a nice pick off, but whatever. Marine Lord decides, enough playing around. Let's wipe out. I don't think he knows this base exists. He does now, though. You know what? I bet he did. He was coming up to get this to happen. So the repair is attempted, but it's just not going to be enough here. Soul is out of position. He loses all these SCVs and this planetary fortress. That is his 4th base. Meanwhile, tanks setting up on the other side, trying to take down the planetary here, but the repair is real, and there are defensive tanks here, too. So the planetary is going to live. Just barely, though, because of the power of repair. And by that, I mean, maybe it's not going to live, though. Hang on, keep firing on it. Does he not have vision? What is happening? Maybe he doesn't have vision. This is an incredible engagement, though. Again, the Vikings winning the day, but the Thors on the ground, problematic. Oh, taking those guys out, though, with the Liberator shots. Love that play. And now what do you do with the tanks? The Liberators are trying to set up area of denial here. The planetary fortress is repaired, but coming in, get rid of the tanks here. Soul's Bio made it happen with the Marauders. This base is down, and both players have lost a base here in the last couple of minutes, putting us at 4 bases apiece. Marine Lord retreating all the way home, recognizing, again, no air superiority, no air dominance at all, which is an issue for him. More Hellions back at the 12 o'clock. They don't have any kills yet, but look at this micro. He's trying to avoid getting splashed on him and then repairing. Oh, hang on. Maybe don't. All right, maybe don't fully saturate that. Okay, all right. Soul sets up some tanks in range of Marine Lord's 4th. And this is just a problem. It's 119 to 80 supply. I don't know that Marine Lord has the army necessary to maybe save this base. The Vikings maybe got overmade a little bit, but again, the cover for the Liberators. That's how you do this. Oh, why is he not using Splash on those Thors? I imagine Splash would be more effective against clumped up Vikings like this, right? I mean, sure, the single target is nice. Hellbat's getting on top of these Thors, though. And nice positioning. They are going to wipe all of them out. All right, all you need are 3 Hellbats, it turns out, to wipe those guys out of the map. However, zoning out Marine Lord's army. Marine Lord trying to take a base up here at the 3 o'clock. No, say the Marines with 2-2 and Stim. I think we'll kill you before you upgrade to a planetary. So the question is, where does Soul want to go from here? Maybe just Liberator denial, push into this base, maybe try to wipe it out. I mean, maybe get over here. There are no turrets in this general vicinity, so I think you could set up quite nicely and wipe out all the mining in that location if you wanted to. But again, vision is the problem. Maybe you don't have perfect vision and perfect education as to what is going on here. I guess not education, but information. Marauders, though, against Thors. Kind of a little bit unfair in a lot of situations. Just going to Liberator the crap out of this army, and I think Marine Lord needs to get out of here now. He's trying. Oh, landing the Vikings. Bonus versus mechanical is happening here now. 107 to 51 army, and that's your good game. Soul gets the win there, putting Poland on the board in this best of 7. Fantastic display of Soul's macro, his micro, his decision making. I'm telling you, this kid is good. He's exceptionally good at this game. Really enjoyed this game from him in particular. So resources lost, 70,000 for Soul, but 21,000 lost for Marine Lord. 13 of his tanks died. 8 tanks of Soul's died. Again, air superiority was massive. Marine Lord tried to get into Thor production to help with it. Didn't help as much as he wanted to. Liberators were a problem. Marauders were a problem. Marines were a problem. And Soul's just too much. Just too much Terran for Marine Lord's Terran. So that ties it up in this best of 7. Who do we have next? I don't even know. Let's find out together. Thunderbird, where we find ourselves for game number 3 between this best of 7 between France and Poland. Going to be Liquid Mana versus Clem. Bottom right-hand corner is the blue Terran player, Clem. He's very young. He's 17. And in the top left, very old compared to Clem, it is Mana. He is 27 years old, you guys. Man, how old is that? Not like I'm much older than that, but anyway, it's a PvT here on Thunderbird, free third base. Macro games galore. And let's get right on into it here. No proxy racks here. No proxy cannons here as well from Mana. But yeah, I mean, Mana's been around, dude. He was a professional Brood War player, been a professional StarCraft player for a long time. He has a long career. I thought he was a little bit older than he is, honestly. But no, definitely not. Just a young phenom. Doing great things in Brood War and then turning into kind of the old wizened vet in StarCraft 2 over the years. And that's where he lives, and it's a good place for him. I like it a bunch. So, interesting setup here. I think Clem, as the up-and-coming young, terrifying Terran player that he is, he might have the advantage in quicks, right? And just in maybe faster thinking. Just because he's younger, and that's kind of how that works. But Mana has the years and the breadth of experience of playing 800 million PvTs in his life, in Brood War, and in StarCraft 2. And we'll see how he does with it, yeah? Yeah. All right, so Reaper on the way here for Clem. Reaper's name is Keanu Reeves the Fourth. Can the 4th iteration of this beloved Hall of Fame Reaper do his predecessor proud by going John Wick on his enemies? Either way, it'll be breathtaking. That's good. That's a good Reaper name. Yeah, Keanu Reeves was the first Reaper to make it into the Reaper Hall of Fame on my channel. He ended up getting like 8 kills and like surviving the whole game or something. He was nuts. I want to say it was Maru that controlled him, which makes a lot of sense. Maybe Beyond. It might have been back in the HOTS days. But anyway, it's hard, man. It is hard to live up to the legacy of Keanu Reeves, especially against a Protoss player who's going to have an Adept out before you really get anything done. SCV scouts and sees what's up and then decides to head on home. And Reaper are going to move on in and see what's going on. But see the Adept finishing just now. And that's it, man. That's all it takes. Reaper has to get out of there. The Adept can shade. The Adept is zippy. The Adept 3-shots the Reaper. Oh, snap. Is it enough? Combat draw. Oh, it was enough. It was just enough for him to stay alive with that 3rd shot. 16 HP left on him. Adept trying to chase him down, but he is pretty zippy on his own. Clem expanding on the low ground. Mana's is already done. Mana's is already done. Robotics facility on the way. And we're probably going to see Colossus. Colossus are a PvT staple these days. Starport on the way here too. So a 1-1-1 opening from Clem. Going for a Widowmine drop, which again, Protoss are pretty much on board with. They can handle it, I think. Mana's probably been Widowmine dropped 100,000 times. And the best you can do is kind of play around it, you know? You try to kill the Widowmines before they fire, but they have surprisingly large amounts of HP for how cheap they are. And they're hard to kill, and you just try to pull your probes and make sure maybe only one of them dies, if any of them have to die at all. And it's a whole thing. If you ever played PvT, you know how it is. So, nope, Keanu Reeves ends up getting no kills. Oh, did he get 2 probes? He might have got 2 probes. Oh, yeah, I just saw the corpse die right there. So, nicely done. 2 kills is not bad, Keanu Reeves. Should not feel bad about that at all. So, War Prism first, which indicates to me quite a bit of pressure is being planned by Mana early. And yeah, he's going to push out with these Adepts, see what they can get done. Hope that Clem maybe tries to go for a quick 3rd base. maybe quite doesn't have the defense that he needs to handle this sort of thing. And there's not a reason for him to think he shouldn't be able to go for a quick third. I mean, Mana has his natural. What's he doing with it? Viking, tank, bunch of Marines. The tank's in a good position. It should be able to handle this no problem. We've got some Stalkers on the way as well. He's going to... Does he have the blink? Of course he doesn't. He doesn't have the tech for it. He's going to shuttle, I think, what this is. This is going to be a shuttle up. You thought you could take a quick third base against me. I mean, not that Clem is going for a quick third base. In fact, he's not. I kind of like this, honestly. Out of Clem, if he's going to defend this, it's because he didn't get a third. So shading on in, and then warping in a ton of Stalkers in the main base. Tank needs to be repositioned, I think. Wouldn't mind firing. Does fire on a couple of these Adepts. Stalkers trying to go after some of the SCVs. They take 2 of them down. They're fighting against these Marines pretty effectively. It's an SCV pull to try to deal with this. A full surround on the Stalkers is actually pretty awesome, but able to shuffle them backwards pretty effectively too, out of the range of the tank, picking off Marines. Adepts getting extra shots. A lot of SCVs are dying here. 10 SCVs down is a big number at this stage of the game. It's 39 to 29 workers in favor of Mana, and he didn't even lose everything. He kept the Warp Prism. He kept the Stalkers alive. Sure, they're almost dead, but they're alive, and that's what matters. 2 kills, 3 kills on those dudes. Taking out a Widow Mine thanks to the assist from the Observer on the high ground. And maybe try to get in here, but the Marines are a little bit scary. There's a good number of them, and all these guys are severely injured. Widow Mine dodge. Oh, he took the hit anyway. The splash almost killed this Stalker. He's got 2 HP, but the Widow Mine is out. Your plans of Widow Mine drop, good sir, are done. They are dead in the water. So well played by Mana. I like it. I liked a little bit of an unorthodox timing on that attack, and it seemed to cause Clem some problems for sure. So Clem is down in worker count, which he's going to be anyway because Chrono Boost is good. He needs to rely on the power of mules to make sure his income is great, and it is. As we can see down here, it's about even with Mana's despite being down some workers, and that's usually how that rocks. Mana's third base is on the way, warping in quite nicely. Forge on the way, Immortal Production. Robotics Bay is done. I expect we'll see those Colossus starting anytime soon. Meanwhile, Stalker's trying to get additional SCVs to the natural. Not going super well for them as they are chased away by a handful of Marines. And whoa, what is this? What is this? How did that happen? Oh, Mana. Okay, just walked an Immortal to its death. Bad rally or control or something. I don't know what that was, but that was a donated free Immortal. I mean, until that Immortal died, it was like a handful of stuff had been killed for Mana, but yikes. So Colossus on the way, Extended Thermal Lance on the way. Really trying to slow down Clem economically before these Colossus hit. Clem has other ideas. Clem's going to get in here before Extended Thermal Lance is done, and that is an issue for Mana. He needs that range. He really needs that range to stay alive here. He gets scanned. He sees what we're dealing with. Clem says, I can take that. Let's go. It's largely Marines. Colossus are really good against Marines, but there are also tanks and a couple Marauders. And any fire you can get on those Colossus is really good. So the basic defense is going pretty well here. The basic range on the Colossus is doing some serious work. Nice force fields and target firing. And Clem does not get up the ramp at all, mind you. Second Colossus joins the party. Shield batteries at the top of the ramp. Clem, I don't know about forcing your way up here, dude. Now, these are drilling claw. Are they drilling claws? I think they are because I saw the fire on the back. No, actually. What? Never mind. Is it the red light? There's an indicator that tells you if Widow Mines have drilling claws. Either way, this medevac is in trouble. Is that seriously out of attack range? I suppose it is. I suppose it is. What over here? Out of attack range? I don't know. Zealot's ready to rock, though, too. Third base getting established for Clem. It's a little bit late. Again, he's still down on worker count. He's fully saturated on both of his bases that he has so far. So he's behind economically. And actually going to get a delay on his third, which is an issue, too. As the Warp Prism drops, kills the SCV, and retreats quite efficiently. Can't get through those minerals, guys. You think they should just be able to shoot the minerals, right? Should minerals be shootable? But I guess that opens up the problem of dropping and killing your opponent's economy. By wiping out mineral lines. Yeah, they should not be shootable. Widow Mine, drop! Okay, 10 probes down instantly. That's why you Widow Mine drop. Because the one time the Protoss doesn't respond perfectly, that stuff happens. Alright, Templar Archives on the way for Mana. Going for Storm would be pretty good here against the composition we see out of Clem. Storm is a good unit regardless. Maybe not against mech, right? If we were seeing some kind of weird tank Thor thing, Storm wouldn't be as good. Viking just begging that War Prism to come back so he can be murdered. But yeah, waiting for additional drops that Clem isn't really super. I guess there is one here. So never mind. There is a drop on the way. 2,300 losses to 2,300 losses. Pretty even across the board after that last Widowmine drop. That was super effective and awesome. Tech is even too. This is a good match. This is a good even match right now. Clem has a bigger army. Mana's gas income's a little bit better because Clem's refinery's just finished on his third. But yeah, it is going to be Storm for Mana, so we'll expect some of that Psionic Storm, the classic spell of Psionic Storm. Fourth base on the way from Clem. Mana really shows no sign of going for a fourth of his own, which is a problem, honestly. You can afford it. Okay, never mind. He's got a probe down here thinking about it. Thinking real strong about taking that fourth base. You hear me, Eliza Jean? Meanwhile, Widowmine just comes right on in to where Stalkers exist. And did that fire on a... That was not great. Well, 3 probes go down anyway because more Widowmines inside the main. 7 actually going down there. Was that a double Widowmine drop? That's pretty good. Feedback to finish off the medevac is hilarious. And Mana has lost a lot of probes today. It's 19 in the first 10 minutes. Not a great number in the least bit. Mana, fourth base. Running. Widowmine's trying to run around inside the main base without getting caught. They don't have drilling claws, so burrowing does not help them. This is a pretty good track. I like that Clem's going for ghosts. Ghosts against Protoss are amazing. Dropping 100 shields off of anything is fantastic. And if you get the upgrade that allows the radius of the EMP to be larger, it's even better spell. Blink coming in from Mana. And the fourth base by Mana is done, but guess what? Clem's is done too because he can just land it complete and make it ready to go. Mana is also working on a Dark Shrine. Could be for DTs. DTs are fairly viable against Terran just because they don't have detection. Right? They don't have detection on all their bases traditionally, whereas Zerg will have spores and it's harder to work around that. You just don't have missile turrets in every base against a Protoss opponent, which, I don't know, might not be a bad idea if we're thinking about things to do against Protoss, but those are resources people don't want to spend. Disruptors in production now. Out of mana. And Clem posturing for a bit of an attack here. He's going to knock down these rocks. Set up on this high ground. I thought I brought some tanks, but nope. I don't think tanks would be too bad here, to be honest with you. Anyway, Zealot's coming around. Maybe trying to take down... That's a planetary, though. Good luck with that. Good force field, making sure Clem can't come down that ramp, at least not comfortably. And there it is. There's the EMP, enhanced shockwaves upgrade. Zealots decide to go after the sensor tower and then throw their lives away trying to take down planetary, which is never going to work. Might as well go after some SCVs, dude. EMPs got him down a little bit there on a couple of those Immortals. Liking it. Storm on the Vikings is really good too. The Vikings incredibly key in making sure the Colossus don't win this. Disruptor shots available. Bit of a whiff of a storm there. Oh, feedback on the Ghost was gorgeous. One EMP goes off, but another one. Nice other EMP. So a lot of shields are gone for the army. But not many Ghosts remain after those feedbacks. Zealot's going for the counterattack into the third base, which is a problem for Clem. He doesn't have anything to stop this at all. The SCV count is going to continue to rise there in the natural. And actually getting on into the fourth base, or the third base too. Purification Nova accomplishes nothing at all. That group of very overstimmed bio does not do great against the Colossus. 3 kills and 3 kills on those. Yeah, again, the Zealots are still causing problems back home. You'll notice it's 25 SCVs down, which is not great for Clem. I'm not sure that we're at the point where he needs to win this, but this Zealot's got 3 kills and this one has 6, and they're shutting down all the mining at Clem's third base entirely right now. 32 SCVs killed in the last couple minutes here. It's 76 to 50 workers in favor of Mana. Zealot with 5 kills. Going to try to take down a missile turret as his final act. No, not enough HP. Too much army to stop him. Mana uses the opportunity to get some high ground himself in this situation and actually blinking forward onto this. Purification Nova killing a few of his own Zealots more than anything else. Bit of an EMP whiff there from Clem too. Clem's 3-3 is going to finish up. 3-3 finishing up now for Mana 2 and his ground units. Another base on the way from Mana. Loving this. Really enjoying this immensely. Out of Mana. Zealot making sure that Clem's 5th base is a little bit difficult to hold. Liberator not in a position to actually help with that at all, which is hilarious, but there we go. Some bio shows up. Mana uses the opportunity to push on in. And is he going to blink? Yeah, I think he's going to blink through this. Going to blink through this with his Stalkers. Get some damage done on in while the army's a little bit out of position and maybe being threatened at the frontier too. This 3rd base is an SCV graveyard. He's actually trying to take down this command center so Clem can expand as easily as he wants to. Has to get out as a few Marauders show up, and those are deterrents without question. Fleet Beacon on the way and a Stargate. Feel like we're going for... Tempests don't make any sense here, though. I'm not sure that it matters. More and more SCVs keep dying here. Clem's income is not going to be healthy. Liberators setting up circles. Again, Tempests are decent against Liberators, but the Viking count is high enough that Tempests are going to die real fast. So I'm not sure that's what you want either. DTs... Oh, there's a missile turret just now. Can you blink on top of that? Do you have the blink attack? No. So, I mean, I think he could have gotten in, taken down the missile turret, and finished off the planetary, assuming no scans were incoming. But, of course, scans are going to be incoming because there are multiple orbital commands on the map as it stands. So we are really moving into macro here, 15 minutes into the game. Air weapons level 1 coming in, so whatever Mana's doing with a Fleet Beacon, it's definitely something that flies. Carriers would be interesting, but again, Vikings are so good against carriers. You never see carriers against Terran for that exact reason. Vikings are the answer, and always have been. Coming on in to the 5th. Missile turret gonna go down. And then the planetary. There's your scan. There's your repair. And that should be held. But Mana pushing up into the 4th base. Taking down a refinery maybe. But the Liberator count is insanely high. DT Blink coming in. These Zealots trying to take down the planetary. Can't quite pull it off. And Mana throwing away a few units in a nice valiant attempt. But as detection existed, that's the end of the story. And Mana is in fact going Tempest, which I don't know that I agree with. How many Vikings are there? Is that 10 Vikings? Units tab says 11. It's 11 Vikings in the sky. With upgrades, I ask? No, not really. But still, pretty scary stuff. Clem pushing into Mana's 4th base. That's going to die. Mana is going to try to take down a couple bases at the same time here, which is interesting too. So we're in a bit of a mini base race scenario right now. Immortals versus Planetary is just never even entirely fair at all here. Eventually it's going to go down, and it does. So, Mana's 5th base is going to die too. So both players are going to lose 2 bases. We're going to be back into the original 3-3 base here at the 15-minute mark. These probes are gone. Is there a recall available? I'm not sure how much it really matters. Probe count getting massacred, down to 41 to 64 for Clem. Big time hit though with the disruption. Purification Nova there. 36 to 55. Clem has a better economy somehow, some way after those attacks. And actually manages to hold on to this 4th base, which is hugely important for him for continuing that income to make it happen. Clem is trying to land a replacement 5th, but a DT shutting that down. Army supply 140 to 134. This is an insanely good game between these two guys. This is a great game 3 for this best of 7 series. I'm enjoying it a lot. Mana double expanding to the bases that both died earlier. Bad positioning though means he's going to have to get a cancel on that 4th. A replacement 4th here. Stalkers fighting. The Vikings are good against the Tempest. I keep telling you this. 2 more probes die, and Clem pushing up. Purification Nova catching a couple ghosts there, which is always really nice, but Army Supply looking really good right now for Clem. I mean, there's a ton of it back here, but the Tempest can't do a lot with the Vikings. The Liberators are denying a ton of everything that the ground army is trying to do right now. Stalkers have to get out. And anytime you deny your enemy from getting up their own ramp, they're in a really bad place here. This might be your GG. Mana's going to lose a ton of probes. Going to lose probably another Nexus here. Terran units are moving up into the main base right now. Tempests are dying as soon as they come out of these Stargates. Mana's trying to get a Zealot counterattack going, but there's enough army back home for Clem to make sure that is not easy to do. 3... Mana's trying to expand his way out of this, making 3 Nexuses at a time. Mana's army is falling precipitously in total count here. That Nexus is not actually dead. And it should be. Let's rectify that, says Clem. His medevacs are out of energy. He's trying to heal up this bio. Not really working out super well. And you know what? Maybe there's enough here to clean this out. A lot of that bio's overstim. The Liberators are a major problem. The Tempests are not super cutting it right now. Disruptor taking some Marauder shots, but does get saved by the recall. Nova. Unnecessary there. And this game has suddenly got absolutely nuts. Mana, I didn't think he'd have time to actually take advantage of these bases. He has time to take advantage of these Nexuses he was building during that attack. The problem is, Clem is pretty happily hanging out on 5 bases right now. He's got a huge worker lead, plus he has mules. His army supply is not quite as big as Mana's, but I feel like he has a good compositional choice against it with the Marauders. And the Vikings pretty much is all he needs against a largely Stalker Colossus Tempest composition out of Mana. Again, Mana, though, is able to make a lot of probes at a time with these Nexuses, and he has the resources to kind of make it happen. He's starving for minerals, but so is Clem, so that's good news. The problem is, Liberators are a problem. The ground bio army for Clem is not big enough. I'm looking at it right now. Where is it? It's mostly Marauders, which is fine. But one of these bases is going to die. Not a huge, massive deal, right? As Mana still has 3 other bases he's mining from. No, just kidding, 2. 2 other bases he's mining from with his 31 workers. And Clem just has to do that. Just kind of start denying bases. Hold on to his own bases. The 6 o'clock he's taken is actually a 6th base. And a DT is going to shut it down because the missile turret was not created until now. Storming it up, and Clem has to get out of there. The Vikings pretty good against those Colossus, though, and the Tempests are dying quite efficiently, too. Army supply 49 for Mana. Everything is dying here. Nicely done with the landed Vikings. That bonus versus mechanical is huge. 19 army supply for Mana. I think that's it. I'm looking at it. I really don't see a way Mana gets out of this thing. He's making 2 Stalkers at a time. He doesn't have the money to remax in the least. His 12 o'clock is done. There's no saving that. Recalling the probes would be huge. But is there a there's not a cooldown actually active right now. And that's it. Clem gets your win. Bringing the country of France to a 2-2-1 lead here against Mana and his country of Poland. Not too shabby. Not a shabby game at all. Very nicely done. If when this many bases die, you know it's a good match. Right? 6 Nexuses died and only 1 planetary. Explains largely why Clem won. He did lose 74 SCVs, but he killed 83 probes, and that's how you need to do this thing. The Tempest, I just don't think are a great idea. The Storm was really nice, but at the end of the day, the Viking count, the Liberator count, the Bio count was just enough to get the win. Landing the Vikings at the end was just a coup de grace, and that's going to be it for this game. So stick with it. We have more to come. We are a long way from being done with this best of 7. Going to be a long Sunday series for sure. And until then, let's go ahead and sit back and don't go anywhere. Winter's Gate, where we find Clem versus Soul. Top left, it is Clem. Bottom right is Soul. All right, more TVT action for those of you who enjoy these mirror matchups. Man, these Nation War casts are good for mirror matchups, I can tell you that much. So, if you don't like that I cast very many mirror matchups, then watch my Nation Wars full series. Right? Right. Okay, so a TVT here on Winter's Gate. I just like this color scheme. I like the red, I like the blue, I like the contrast, a little bit of green here, and slow zones that everybody hates. I don't know, I just like the doodads. Anyway, what are we looking at here? It's going to be more TVT action, this time between Clem and Soul. Hang on, is this a rematch between... No, my brain has 3 brain cells in it. Was it Clem and Soul previously? I want to say it was. I want to say that was Clem and Soul previously. So we're rematching in here. I don't know how this works. How Nation Wars decides who you can send into the next match in the series is completely foreign to me. But yeah, I guess we're rematching a TVT here real quick. Real quick. But anyway, what are we doing? Is anybody doing anything interesting? Probably going to get some Reapers. Got some Reaper names here ready to rock, which is always exciting. Dun, dun, dun. You know what I want is a TVZ. Can we get a TVZ? Can we get a laser in here doing some stuff against, you know, well, for example, Clem? That'd be great. But maybe. Reaper's on the way. Reaper here. Blue Reaper is Sleeper the Reaper. Ooh, what? Need me to scout? Kill an SCV? Sure. Just give me 5 more minutes. And the other Reaper's name is Cowbell. Don't fear the Reaper. I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell. So it's going to be Cowbell the Reaper versus Sleeper the Reaper here. So Sleeper, again, usually defensive. But I'm moving out at this stage. Maybe trying to catch this SCV. SCV kind of gets stuck in the middle and is going to get some shots on him. But then other Reaper shows up and you have to get out of there because in this situation, whoever gets the first shot off and continues to get shots wins. So you got to run for it. That's exactly how this works. Anyway, Marine on the mix defending here from Soul. Things are fine. SCV is going to die, though. So Sleeper the Reaper on the board, getting an SCV kill. Factory finishing up from Clem. Soul's factory a little bit behind here, which is to be understood. Starport in production, and Starport probably on the way from Soul as soon as the factory finishes, as that is the build order, and that's how you have to do things. Hey, do you know I have a podcast? So weekly podcast with myself and Somicron, sometimes with special guests, like Pig, and like Zombie Grub, and like Duddles, from Who the Hell is Duddles fame. But just check it out. Search Falcon Paladin in your podcast app, whatever it is. We're on Apple, we're on Android, we're on Windows phones. You can find us. We are in the podcast universe. And if you don't have a phone with a podcast app, you don't want to listen on a phone, then hit us up on the internets too. Falcon Paladin Hour will come up in your searches very easily too. You can stream it on all sorts of websites. No problemo. Oh, my phone just told me that there's a Westworld Season 3 premiere date. Heaven forbid it tell me what the date is in the push notification. I'm not clicking on your link, dude. Don't care about it that much. Jeez. I don't know. Season 2 is okay. I liked Season 1 quite a bit. I feel like it's a lot easier to create an interesting conceit for your TV shows. A lot harder to end them and make them continue to be interesting over time. So, whatevs. What do we got here? Medevac Widowmine drop with some Marines for support. Just moving right across the middle of the map. Has no worry at all that Soul's going to scout this, and he's correct to assume so, because there's no way that Soul's going to scout this. Moving in, maybe get some Hellion harassment at the front to distract a little bit. This is how you got to do at the highest levels, guys. It'll work at your level, too. Poking a few units at the front, everybody responds, and then you attack into the main with something else. It's really good. At the very least, he can delay this third base. He's going to get a Hellion, maybe, unless the Hellion runs away. Widowmine burrows in. Liking that Widowmine positioning. It gives the Marines a place to fall back to, is what it does. Widowmine, yeah, taking down a Hellion, really weakening one of those Marines, too. 5 SCVs go down, third base is delayed, and Clem's not done yet. Clem has more issues. He's got a medevac to heal, but a tank shows up, and that changes the equation. It's time to head on out of there. So good damage done, did some worker kills. Clem has a worker advantage as a result. His command center as a third is getting started. Souls is actually going to be right on par. Yeah, pretty much right on par with it as he picks up the construction again, which is kind of interesting timing if you think about it. You're gonna think about it. Yes. Anyway, what else am I doing? I'm watching Dracula on Netflix. And speaking of endings, by golly, endings are hard. But, I don't know. Stephen Moffat, right? The guy who did Doctor Who for a lot of the reboot from 2005. The guy who did Sherlock, also for BBC. Again, great starts. I love Season 1 of Sherlock more than many things, honestly. It was a wonderful modern reimagination of Sherlock in ways that I just appreciated very much. But as the seasons went on, it got worse and worse. And kind of fell off a cliff there. So, it's problematic. Endings are hard is the lesson I'd like everyone to remember from this. Is if you're writing story, endings are hard. Give people some leeway for it. But if you're professionally doing this for a living, and you've done it forever, like, I just want to see more effort. That's all I want. Just a little more effort, people. You can do it for Falcon, right? So we're definitely third command centering here. No two-base timings at all from anyone right now. 2 base timings are for other people. Not us, not Clem and Sol, that's for sure. But yeah, Sol, seriously, won Africa World 50 against a pretty stacked deck. Pretty strong collection of opponents. So I take Sol very seriously now is what I'm saying. I don't think I did prior to casting that. I mean, he has some good wins, but he didn't really do anything to set him apart from any other European Terrans. But I'm telling you, this dude... Oh, it was Marine Lord. God, I'm dumb. It was Marine Lord and Sol that we saw, not Clem and Sol, derp. There are just good Terrans in France all over the place. You guys have been screaming that at me for 5 minutes, haven't you? Probably. Alright, so Tank's setting up in a great defensive position. No surrounds possible there, that's for sure. High ground positioning. Checking to see where is this army. I can't use scans constantly because I don't have enough command centers for that yet. Clem is dropping into the main base of Sol, forcing a full pull of all of those SCVs. Trying to take down, I guess, maybe a supply depot or 2. Nice auto turret toss downs. And, oh, Clem's Raven does manage to escape from there. SCV's coming back to work, which is not super great, and a couple of them die. Going back to work early is not something you want to do if you're an SCV. If you're an SCV and your base is under attack, and you get the all clear from the commander to go back, it's safe now, just wait. Like, try to be the last one back, because you never know when the enemy is still lurking around. Maybe gonna try to drop on top of this, but okay, interesting unload place. There we go. Gonna help, and this third base for Sol's in a lot of trouble. The repair is happening, but a lot of damage is being outputted onto it right now. The SCV's getting massacred a little bit too. The base does end up getting saved just because the tank support, but unloading directly on top of these tanks is going okay for Clem, not super great. And also coming from the backside, Sol does manage to wipe out the tanks, get rid of the invading Clem, and save his third base all at the same time. Clem is not done yet. He's going to unload himself back on in to the main base. And, oh, landed Vikings. Since when do landed Vikings get picked up? That's so cool. That is so cool. Too many Marines, though. The Vikings get picked up, and they boost out of there, waiting for that boost to come up. This is great from Clem. This is so good from Clem. Sol has a bigger army. Clem has a bigger economy right now. Tank defending this pretty effectively, and whatever remains is 1 Viking inside a medevac. Clem is going to go home with. So Clem happily on 3 bases. Sol fairly happily on 3 bases, too. Doing some long-distance mining unnecessarily. Got to put those guys back to work. Oh, that was interesting. This little icon right here, the combat shield, it was like right perfectly. Anyway, it looked like it was part of the production tab, but just misaligned, which was weird. I thought it was a bug, but nope, it was not. It was not. Sol going for an attack with his superior army, but Clem's home. Tanks are setting up here on both sides. Really comes down to, there you go, interference matrices. And Sol has to get on out. That was really well defended by Clem. He had about a half a second to respond to it. He did perfectly. And that's all there is to it. Tank defending the third base means Marines unsupported can't get in there and do anything. And Sol's going to retreat from that position too. Who's going to go for the 4th base is the question. Who's going to be the brave one to start building a command center, take a 4th base in this pretty darn tight TVT where both players have lost a bunch. Sol has lost more in 4,800. Clem in 3,500 resources lost. 15 SCVs down for Sol is a lot of SCVs. He is down in worker count as a result. And Clem pushing out with a bigger army, bigger economy now. And that's just thanks to the economy advantage that he's owned for the last couple minutes here. That's all it takes. So the Ravens are his. The Vikings are his. He owns the skies right now. Sol does not have Vikings. He doesn't have a Raven. That is a problem. Again, we talked about how important owning the skies is in TVT, and Clem's doing it. Clem's absolutely doing this. 1 tank picked off for very little damage on Sol's army. Very Gosu move there out of him. Interference matrix on the tank. Tanks sieging up and firing. Good splits on the Marines. Sol's tank is down. Liberators joining the party. This is really bad for Sol. I'm looking at this right now, and suddenly army supply 79 to 48. It's looking very much like we might be done here for the Polish Terran. And that's it. Good game, Clem. Gets your win. Ah, wait. No, come back. It's fine. That was a pretty good game. We'll go ahead and wrap that up. We'll move into our next game here, but that puts France up. Is that 3-1? Hey, look at the login screen. How you doing? Dang it. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere. Okay, we're back. It's a Disco Bloodbath. It's Clem versus a Laser this time. Bottom right-ish of Disco Bloodbath is the Red Zerg player Laser. And the top left, it's Clem. All right, so at this point, France is up 3-2-1. In this best of 7, boy golly, a laser's back is against the wall here. Clem is one of the most terrifying players to play Terran right now. I kind of feel like if Raynor hadn't come along at the same time as Clem, we'd respect Clem a lot more for what he's doing at the age of 17, right? Right, but Raynor made it to the finals of BlizzCon, so basically Clem is being ignored, virtually ignored, but just take it from me. Clem is an excellent, excellent, excellent Terran player. We should all be very afraid of him, and he's going to do great things in StarCraft 2 in the upcoming years. Yeah, right. What are we doing? What are we doing here? Laser going for the 16, 18, 17. Clem building his racks at home for ZVT of the day. Overlords are cruising across the map, trying to find those proxies, but Clem has no interest in proxies. He is above proxies, if you ask him. That's maybe not true. He may be proxies all the time, and actually I have seen him do it, so let's just take that one back. Question is, does a laser want to go for speed first or go for a third hatch first? Generally, if you're not expecting anything too nuts out of your opponent, you can delay speed a little bit. It's kind of annoying against the Reaper, but once your queens are out, it doesn't really matter, does it? You want speed if your opponent's going for some kind of a mass Reaper play, right? Or some kind of like a really fast proxy factory style, but not what we're looking at here yet. As the command center does go down from Clem, he's not one base in it. He's not proxying anything right now. And the Reaper's name is Cats. 200 years ago, a colony ship of humans that contained a box of human. Lost contact with the rest of the galaxy. Recently, a Dominion exploration fleet found the lost colony, which had somehow become horrific human-cat hybrids called the Jellicles. They dance and sing and patch movies and stand a few inches from the ground. For being just truly the absolute worst thing imaginable, they were all sent to the Reaper program. Referring to Cats, a 2019 film/visual torture device. It's not good, y'all. I didn't see it, but my sister saw it twice, and she explained the plot to me fairly thoroughly, so it's insane. Laser is getting that third fast, coming up sub 2.5 minutes. Not starting speed at all. Just, again, his queens are a big deal. His slowlings are fine until the queens pop to stop Gat. The laser is complaining about lag, which is a problem in Nation Wars. And then the queen pops, and the Reaper has to get out, and the third base is up and running, and the laser's in a great place economically, and then starts his speed. So, yeah, this is kind of seeming to be more like the meta. More and more like the meta, you know what I mean? It's just getting the third base down, delaying speed a little bit. If you're not planning on being aggressive, then what do you need it for anyway, right? There's really nothing to worry about. Again, a laser's blind at this stage. He has no idea what the Terran player is doing. But based on the Reaper timing, it couldn't really be anything but a 1 Rax expand. Although it would be hilarious if it was a 1 base timing with like multiple Rax Reaper, and all of a sudden 18 Reapers showed up, and that would be really bad for a laser, but it worked out this time. And yeah, what this tells me is, you know, I do try to cast just more macro games. And I always wondered if there was more short stuff going on in the professional series than I thought there were, because I just select the longer ones, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Seems like a lot of people are going for the macro. That seems to be the meta at this stage. Again, Cyril probably changed it up. Cyril's the guy that came in for Zerg and said, this is how you play Zerg, and he's right. This is what Blizzard has been trying to tell Zerg, that what Zerg is since Wings of Liberty, is we give you this creep. We give you these slowlings. We give you the ability to have vision on this creep. And you're defensive. You're a defensive race in this matchup. And all the Zergs are like, but we have Speedlings. And we have Banelings. And Baneling busts are so fun. And yes, they are, said Blizzard, but really you're a defensive race. And it took Cyril to really perfect that and figure it out. But at the end of the day, you play defensively as Zerg and defend well, and you're going to win more of your matches than not. That's the trick, though, is defending well, because Terran will go multi-pronged harass on you. They'll constantly come in and out of different directions and try to harass you here, and try to get you here and bring a drop over here. And if you don't deal with those all effectively, you're going to lose, and it sucks. But that's how the race was designed, so take it up with the Blizzard, man. Baneling Nest on the way from a laser at about 4.5 minutes, working on some safety spores, because he has, again, no idea what Clem is up to, other than the fact he's got a third command center on the way. So it could be any number of things, but it couldn't be too strong. Oh, this is bait. That was bait, man. If he went up that ramp, I think the Ling's trap, the Queen's trap, and everything dies. But Clem is a little too smart for that and does manage to escape from the location. Third base in a bit of trouble. Ling's running fast to get there and actually thrown up an evolution chamber to block. That was a really great play from a laser. Extremely well done. Fantastic. All right, so third base from Clem. Coming up here, additional barracks on the way. It's definitely going to be a bio opening at the very least here. Out of Clem. A laser's third base is saturated, which tells me that he is not going for any style of a crazy attack early on. He needs a fourth is what he needs right now. He is on 64 workers on 3 bases, which is too many, man. He's oversaturated in a bunch of places here. I guess maybe he's saturating his gases, and that helps. And there's your fourth base down at the 6 o'clock. Overseer cruising around, does not have Overlord speed, just waited for the Overseer timing to get in here. Sees the number of barracks, sees the reactor to starport, and says, all right. Engineering base 2, just for further confirmation. It's going to be a ton of bio. Let's see what we can do. Hydralisk 10 on the way for a laser as the further tech of choice. Baneling speed coming in. That centrifugal hooks upgrade is really, really good to have. And so far, I'd say both players are on pretty even footing. I mean, economically, obviously, a laser is killing it, as Clem's third base hasn't landed yet, and the fourth base by a laser is just about done. But regardless, Clem should be able to handle this just fine. Got an armory at the front, probably for further upgrades. If I had to guess what that armory exists for, and additional barracks. Oh yeah, all the barracks. All the barracks. That's all you need. Ling's heading north while Clem's army heads on down south. Ling's trying to see is there a third base up at the 12 o'clock? No. They're over here. Yes, it is, but there are Hellions too. So good luck with that. Clem decides to jump on in, but there are Banelings with speed and there are Queens, and this is just not going to happen. So, takedown. Cool. Marine count not super healthy. I'm surprised Clem's sticking around for this. But Zergling's going to jump on top of that tank, and that's all she wrote. So, Clem's aggression gets shut down. The Queens almost managed to take down the Liberator, losing a couple Queens in the process, but the Liberator is dead, and that's what matters. The laser can replace those Queens. He's got an Infestation Pit on the way here, too. So far, so good from a laser. Defending exceptionally well. Droning his face off when necessary. He's at 74 workers at 7 minutes. Got an Infestation Pit, like I said, on the way. Going for that Hive Tech. Going for the 1-1 for the melee, which indicates to me he's going to go for Ultras. And, oh, a Nidus network on the way, too. From a laser. This could be interesting. Like a Ling Baneling Nidus would be pretty excellent. He's got a 5th base on the way as well. So he's just managed to hold this without taking too much damage whatsoever. His army is about the same size of a laser's, but the Banelings are really good, depending on the situations you have them in. Reaper tries to see, is there a new base? There definitely is. Can we handle it is the question. And the answer is not really. That's a lot of Zergling Baneling, and Clem's army is not that big. Pick up, boost out, get on out of there, friend. This Zergling. I'm trying to look for vision where a Nidus Worm would go for a laser. I don't see one. Just biding his time, biding his time. Is he working on a hive? Not working on a hive yet. Going for a range for his Hydralisk, says he recognizes eventually you need a way to kill these medevacs. Lings and Banes are great, but you need something to kill the other Struff. Dropping inside the main base, couple Zerglings run to their devs to try to handle this. That is just, look at how short the flight distance is there. Look how long the rush distance is. Hive on the way, and Hydralisk's in production with that range upgrade. Needs something to deal with these medevacs, right? That's what I think needs to be done here. And there's your Nidus. Boy, that is just in full view of everything Clem has. So Clem's going to go ahead and murder it because this is the least, like, most poorly hidden Nidus of all time. It's going to erupt and one Baneling comes out but doesn't kill anything. That harmed all of these SCVs, though, so that maybe counts for something. Another Nidus coming up here, which I don't even know what that one's for necessarily. But Widowmine drops! Phew! Good Widowmine drops here at the 4th. And getting picked up and getting sent on out. Marine still flying around on the right side, trying to make something happen. Nidus erupts. Again, not much in it. Just trying to put some fear of Zerg into Clem, I suppose. Maybe trying to make it harder for him to expand, right? Spread creep over this way, make it harder to land your command center. But it's not in a position to do that. Creep's not going to spread far enough to stop that command center from getting on the ground. Clem in here, clearing out those creep tumors like you want to do if you're a Terran player. And you know what? You just unload some stuff and kill this? Forcing a liftoff. Maybe the creep would extend far enough. I don't know. Either way, this Nidus Worm is dead. Marine's causing problems. Widowmine's getting killed. Another couple Widowmine hits. 20 drones have been killed so far, but I think a laser could absorb those shots because of how many bases he has. and how much of a bank he has here, too. Clem's bank is nothing, and a laser sitting on a 2,000 mineral bank. I think he's saving up money. There we go. Ultralisk Cavern on the way. He's making 2 Ultralisk Caverns? Canceled one. Canceled one Ultralisk Cavern. He's got a Spire coming up, too, which I really love seeing the Spire, considering Clem is so dedicated to dropping in this game. But yeah, Adrenal Glands on the way. Kind of splitting, coming on in. Viper's already out for a laser, though. Ready to rock another Nidus attempt. Kind of keeping Clem's attention elsewhere. Coming onto the creep is Clem, feeling a little bit too too confident, perhaps, as a lot of stuff dies there. Widowmine firing on those Banelings, causing damage to itself, too. Army Saw apply 115 to 90. Adrenal Glands finishing up would be nice, but the Zerglings already have 2-2, which is nuts. 3-3 is on the way from Clem, so that means he has his 2-2 Banelings trying to come up. Trying to come up here. Widowmine's firing. Widowmine's firing all over the place. Zergling jumping on top of a tank here at Clem's third base, trying to finish it off. They can't. There's too many Marines defending. Drop it inside the main base, going after some of these drones. So several drones going to go down. Banelings free inside the main base, taking out some Widowmines and some Marines there too. Not too shabby. There's action all over the map right now. Widowmine does have the drilling claws. Red light at the top tells us that another Nidus worm dies. Number of worms to die today is a total of 5. Which, not free. Nidus worms are not. Oh, the Widowmines, though. When Zerglings are chasing you, Widowmines are great. And engaging off creep here is not a great split, by the way. Not what you want to do if you're a laser right now. I'm looking at it, and Medivacs are dying, which is really nice. The Hiders are doing some seriously good work here. Baneling train. Oh, the tank fire, though. I don't know. Okay, supply depot wall is down. And 7 SCVs die. Not sure that was worth the trade. Drop inside the main base, accomplishing some stuff. Marine left behind. What do they say about nobody left behind? Redonkulous is what I say. Baneling's firing on in. Lings running to their deaths. This is really bad for a laser. He's got ultras out, though. And does Clem have any of those ghosts? No. Does he have any liberators? No. He has 11 marauders. He does not have the tech necessary to deal with these ultras right now. His production tab says liberators, yeah. His production says marauders, yeah, but it's not there yet. And then suddenly you're dealing with ultras. And yeah, sure, Widowmine shots ignore ultra armor, and it's pretty nice. But the Marines aren't very good against it. Friendly fire Widowmine shot, I think what that was. Oh, he's just no concern for Widowmine shots today at all. He's just dragging the Zerg army through the Widowmine just minefield to be redundant. And he's pushing back. We got Zerglings working on this Great Wall of Supply Depots, trying to supply block Clem. What the heck? Where did that come from? Way over here, probably? Way over here, probably. Look at a laser engaging off creep. This is amazing. I don't think he even has anabolic synthesis yet. He does. All right, the ultras are fast. Forcing a lift off on that command center is nice. Widowmine's going to take that ultra down. That ultra's down too. The Hydros trying to bring that command center down to burning, and they can't quite accomplish it. Another ultra shows up. Ling's showing up. Too many marauders. Ultras are falling, and a laser has to go home. He's got a greater spire on the way here too. Again, a laser loses this. His country is done. There's a lot of pressure riding on his shoulders right now. Clem's up 188 to 137 supply. Look at the supply, as Todd would say, in reference to his fellow countryman, Clem. Clem setting up here at a laser's fourth base, trying to march on in. Zerglings on top of Zerglings here. God, the Banelings all accomplish almost nothing thanks to the Widowmine hits and the Liberator hits. The Widowmines are just paying for themselves over and over and over again. Explosions everywhere. 95 to 36 army supply. I think Clem has this. I'm looking at it. It's not looking good. And Clem taking down a hatchery. A Nidus attempt from a laser inside the main base. Once again, is it going to be enough? I don't know. Losing that base was huge. The army supply advantage for Clem is massive right now. And Zergling's last-ditch attempt by a laser to make something happen. here inside the main base. There's just too much bio remaining. Engagements are all over the map right now. And that's good game. Clem wins it, giving France the 4-1 victory over Poland in this best of 7. What a fantastic display there from Clem, getting the win there. And Laser had such an economy early on, but Clem, brilliant use of Widow Mines. Resources lost, 27,000 to 15,000. That is doubling up for Laser. The amount of resources that he lost there was brutal. 1 hatch dies, no bases die for Clem. Widow Mine's getting serious work done there. So many Banelings dead, just a Widow Mine fire and not much else. The Ultras were not the answer for him, and Clem was your winner, even without Ghosts. I thought without Ghosts he'd be in more trouble than he was, but unfortunately it came down to a Laser just not really having the creep spread necessary. Right, didn't have the creep spread necessary to really push on Clem here. If you're going to push on a Terran player with Ultras, you want creep to retreat to. And there just wasn't enough creep spread down this way or this way or this way. I mean, Clem was doing a great job clearing it out, but you want to have that creep spread for the Ultras to feel comfortable on. But yeah, end of the day, nicely done. Really, really nicely done there out of Clem, providing the 4-1 win against Poland. Again, no slouch of a country. So that's going to be it from me today. This has been Falcon Paladin, coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void and your Sunday series. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. Thank you so much for watching. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch. And until next time, as always, you take care of yourself.